Hello, my name is Kevin and welcome to the Love Decanters channel. So this is the final part, I think, of my visit to Vintage Guru in Northampton, and this time I actually find two real antique pieces of glass. Yeah, actual antiques. Not vintage, not 20th century. Well, one of them's 20th century, but it's right at the beginning, so that makes it over 100 years old, and that's the difference between vintage and antique. Vintage is anything that's over 25 years old. Antique if it's over 100 years old. That's the usual kind of definition. Anyway, so with that said, let's get on with the film.
Here's me thinking I'll finish it, and I totally missed this room. There's a couple other rooms, but mainly clothes. I didn't see anything exciting. But let's go and have a look here. This looks like one of those Medina, but not Medina. Yeah, I think it is probably because it's not polished on the base at all. Yeah, I don't know who does these. This is probably, this little bit here makes me think it's French. Don't recognise this one. I'm going to try and find this dolphin. Yeah. It's making me think Wedgwood, but I don't know. It's got no colours in it. But it's nicely refractive and everything. Nicely done, modelled and everything. So I'm going to try and find that. Yeah, one of the dreaded clowns. So these are Murano. What's he got written on it? See if I can get it out without knocking it over. Yeah, vintage Murano clown. They're still making these today though. I thought he'd lost an eye, but he's tucked around the side there. But yeah.
First thing we're looking at in part 3 is the Murano clown, and yeah, they're not my favourite. Openly admit it. There are a lot of them. There's lots of different styles, but you can see most of these are all by the same maker, and they're saying they're Murano. If you go in the Google, I found they're still for sale new today, and they're quite expensive. I mean, look at this one. It's £583, £783. These are ones a bit strange, and those ones a bit strange as well, but a lot of them are similar to these other ones that we were looking at. You see they have a certain, the standard ones have a certain look about them. Now, as I said, they're not my favourite thing. They seem incredibly expensive when they're new. If you go, I did a quick search on sold ones, and they don't sell for very much. There's a tall one here, so that's 12 inches tall, £42.47 odd price, but these are sold, so this is the sold prices. Oh look, someone's selling a damaged project. But anyway, they're not selling, some of them are as low as £10. Now, why are they so expensive new is the question you might be wanting to know. But if you think about it, I don't think these are all maybe they're all lamp made, I don't know, but to get all these, so this body's definitely not lamp made because it's got gold in it. Yeah, if you think about it, you'll need a different furnace for each colour if you're making them out of the furnace. I mean, I don't think you can make these balls out of a lamp. So yeah, it must be, you've probably got like half a dozen furnaces on the go to make one of these. So yeah, and usually there's a bit of complexity, like this body here and this body here, you can see. So I don't know if it's a mixture of blown glass, blobs of glass out of the furnace, and lamp glass. Lamp glass is where you basically have a cane of glass and you're heating it up with a blow lamp. But anyway, you've got lots of combinations of different bits and pieces to make one, which is probably why they're so expensive. But yeah, they could be virtually new. and that's something you need to be aware of. But then look at the new price compared to the second-hand price. So if you go to Venice, don't buy one of these. Think, I like those, if you do like them, that is, and I'll buy one when I get back.
Here's an interesting little collection here. Empoli. I've seen those before, but I can't remember who made them. I think this is Medina. Yes, it is. This swung vase here, though. Yeah. Colorway looks like kind of Japanesey, but it says Murano. Let's try and find it. I don't know. This is just a piece of pressed glass, so yeah. So I've been trying to find this vase. I found this one here on Etsy for £65, and it says Murano. And this one, oh no, sorry, this one here, which is on eBay, is $29.99, but they don't know. Now, I have done a lot of searching. Yeah, this is like at the end here. Like, okay, so yeah, nobody's telling you. One, they're not common, and two, there's another one there, but that's a bit less like what we were looking at, but similar enough, I think. Only one is actually proclaiming to know what it is, and it's this one on Etsy. And honestly, unless they were putting a designer and a page, you know, a patent number or something in it, I would trust it as far as I could throw it, because yeah, I've seen a lot of things on Etsy with high prices where I've gone, yeah, that's wrong. So yeah, the answer is I have it possible, but without something more concrete, yeah, I'm not very trusting of it. The vase in the back there looked like a cedar, and it is. Now, you couldn't see it very well in the film because it was in the back and partially hidden, but this is the vase we were looking at, this one here. And the reason I keep coming to this, one, I have this catalogue, and yeah, and cedar seems to have been, they must have been in the 70s really churning out this style of the bud vases and these vases and a few other bits and pieces, really churning them out and exporting them to the UK, because I see them quite a lot, and it's nice to say, yeah, this is a familiar thing, you know what it is. And actually I see so much of it, you can only imagine it's a part of the landscape of the 70s style, because there is so much of it in the antique centres. So yeah, interesting. It's starting to, you know, make me a bit more interested in them, because obviously they were exporting a lot to the UK. So you've got things like the Romanian fishes and the Chinese vases and these cedar little vases and bud vases with the little blibby bottoms. So yeah, it sets the scene for the 70s, probably more so than the Whitefriars bark vases. So we've got a few bits of glass up here in the back there. Got a Wedgwood candlestick, that's by Stennett Wilson. I don't know what he's got written on it. Wedgwood candlestick, yeah, there you go. And then a couple of Empoli things here. More Wedgwood. What's he got written on these? Oh, that one's not marked. No, it just says smoked glass, but yeah, these are Wedgwood as well. Caithness. I don't recognise this one. I'll try and find this one. And this is Dartington. There's a taller one. Comes in red as well. I don't think I've ever seen it in green. Sea green top hat bowl. I'll have a look in the book at that one. I think this is rare. So this book is Dartington Glass, The First 20 Years by Linda and Stuart Smithson. And yeah, so there's the little sugar bowl and creamer that we were looking at. This is the Wedgwood section, as I said earlier, FJD 21. They started doing Wedgwood glass in 1983. So 21, this is probably from 83, maybe 84, maybe 85. But anyway, it's in that general time frame. Early 80s, I would go with. So yeah, but that's not what we want to see. We want to go back in time and have a look at that bowl. So here's the bowl we were looking at. So it's FT73 and the year is 1968. Yep, and it comes in a number of colours: clear, midnight, kingfisher and flame. So I think the one we were looking at was kingfisher. Looks very greenish for a kingfisher, but anyway, this is what we were looking at. I think it's quite rare. I have no idea how much they cost. I have had a look, can't find one, so I still have no idea how much they cost. I think it was £18, so I don't think there's a massive profit in there, but if you're a Dartington collector, I suspect you would snatch it up, because I've never seen one before. Not that colour and size anyway. So there you go. I thought I'd have a go at trying to find that funny bark bars first. And so I came here to the Whitefriars Glass Wannabes blog spot. And yeah, I've been through the whole thing and I didn't find it. So what did I find though? I think it... can I get my brain to work? Yes. So what I did find is if I scroll enough down here, look at all these different patterns. This is a really good resource if you're trying to figure these kinds of things out, because it's got quite a few different things, and it's got this bit. So I think in part 1 or 2 I was looking at a vase and I said it had too many ribs. Do you remember the ribs? So this is like so this is a Scandinavian one. It's got a label there. And this is the Whitefriars one. This is a Scandinavian one. Another Whitefriars one. And look at this. This looks exactly the same as the one I was looking at, and the colour looks the same as well. And it has a Bohemian label on it. Unfortunately, I don't think you get any more detail on it than that. But it probably just says a Bohemian glass label. So yeah, it's Bohemians from the Czech Republic. But not the answer that I was looking for on this website, though. A bit of American Carnival glass in here. I might be able to find that bowl. It's quite biggish. It's more like a small fruit bowl as opposed to a sugar bowl. Yeah, that looks Czech, but I'm not certain. Don't recognise that either. All that, but I think that looks fairly modernish. So I'm using David Doty's Carnival Glass website here. It's a really good site. I've clicked on bowls. Yeah, there's a million patterns in here. Anyway, I did find it. It's called Vintage by Dugan. It doesn't have any bowls like the one we were looking at, but this is the pattern, because these leaves, you've got one here like this, and then I could see the other leaf here, and none of the others are like that. So yeah, so this is what it is. It's this one here. I tried to find if there were any for sale, and for that I went to the Carnival Glass website. I couldn't find any of that bowl, but I did find this, and obviously it's America, so yeah, $125 is madness. There is another one for sale. I wonder what that's for. Yeah, it's better colour though. What's that? What do they want for that? 275. Yeah, so Americans like their vintage Carnival glass. He's saying early 1900s. So yeah, it's 100 years old plus. So that's not vintage.
It's an antique item.
Got some dark red glass, don't recognise it. That handle though is the one that's painted by Thomas Webb in I think 1869, might be wrong. And then you've got some 80s Chance Brothers football plates. This book is 20th Century British Glass by Charles Hajdemach, I should say. And yeah, I think the bowls we're looking at, this one, which is called Anemone, and it's from 1965 and introduced by Michael Harris. And I presume that's Michael Harris of Medina Glass and Isle of Wight fame. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think it's earlier than I thought, and I thought these ones with the flowers on were a bit later. I thought they were 80s. There's another one here that's similar here. If I can stop the light from shining right there. But yeah, these are the ones that are, I think, no, that one there is a bit later. But anyway, yeah, Chance Brothers did quite a lot of different patterns, and I've seen lots of others which I've not seen in this book with labels on, so I know there's like a proliferation. But then there's also another maker called Filigrand, I think, yes, and they make something similar as well that looks very like Chance Brothers stuff. So it is quite a difficult one to get into unless you've got a list of all the patterns, which I don't have. This looks like a big chunk of Murano. He doesn't know. It's got a lot of wear underneath, but it is an ashtray, which doesn't help it. But this here, this is a Whitefriars molar. What's he got on the label? Let's see. Ruby glass, £12. So yeah, he's not spotted that. I think that's from the 1950s. I'm going to start with the ashtray. I'm looking at the 20th Century Glass website, and yeah, this is the closest I can get to that ashtray. I suspect this is actually a dealer's website, although he keeps this fantastic database. He probably would avoid ashtrays because they're more difficult to sell. But yeah, so this is the same shape, the same colorway. The difference is it doesn't have pull down in the corner. He doesn't know exactly who made it. They're called geodes, and they come in different colorways. If I go back a page, you'll see there's like different colors. There's pages of this stuff, and there's lots of different colors. If I go right here, you get the idea. They all have there's a few different looks to them, but yeah, and I suspect these ones are ashtrays, but like just for two cigarettes. But I didn't see any 3-point cigarette ashtrays, but plenty of 3-sided little bowls. Anyway, so that's the first bit we were looking at in that section. So I'm looking at the whitefriarsglass.com website, and this is the catalogue for 1956, and it's the earliest example I can see like this. There's a similar one from 1954 with a different number. This is a 9409, he says, linking forward, but it's the first time it appears in ruby. So yeah, the earlier one doesn't appear in ruby, so 1956 it is. So I had a quick thought. It was on for £12. How much is it worth? I found one sold one for £29.99. Or best offer accepted. I don't know what that line through it means. It means they probably accepted offer, but I doubt it would be £12. So £12 looks to be a bargain because they've not spotted that it's Whitefriars. Got some Ravenhead. I think these are called Churbies. Looking at the slight, yeah, they got that little dip at the bottom. What's he got written on them? Ravenhead tumblers. Yeah, these are, as I previously said, designed by Alexander Hardy Williamson. Two-tone ones. So yeah, they're quite nice.
This book is 20th Century Glass by Charles Hajdemach. And yeah, so these are the chunkies. This section here is supposed to be. And they're from 1964 onwards. Now, what I've noticed here, though, if I can get the light to stop shining on. Yeah, this one and this one are different shapes. You can see these ones are the same shape as the ones we're looking at, where I was pointing out that it goes in from about here downwards and it curves in. So it curves out slightly all the way and then curves in like this. These are kind of like straight, sort of slightly curving in at the top and then straight down and then round at the bottom. So I think these ones are actually the chubbies and these are the chunkies.
Another shelf here. I think these are Luminarch, they're French. That looks Empoli in the back there. But look at this monkey, I don't recognise this. But it's got a cut top. I wouldn't have expected that, unless it's a lamp base. If you remember right at the beginning of the video, I was showing you a piece of glass I said I thought was recycled glass. This is actually Italian. This is the stuff that has the misleading labels on it that says Murano. It says Murano, but it says it's made in the style of Murano, but it is Italian. Because you can see, look at the colour of the glass compared to the one we were looking at. It's so clear, so bright. Yeah, is that. And it's got these little bits where it's been pressed around the edges. That's something that they do as well on those Murano-esque bowls and vases. So we've got nice, this looks like an early Victorian decanter. It's not super quality. Stocker looks original though. Yeah, that feels really good. But yeah, it's got some bloom. That'll get some getting rid of. And yeah, so we've got another one of those Murano, not Murano vases. See, look how clear this glass is. Do you remember, just like I was saying before, if it's greenish, then it's recycled glass, but these ones are not that. Yeah, I don't recognise. The decanter in the back looks like it's Royal Dalton or somebody. Some bits of trinket set in here. I think I've seen this one. I think this might be... No, I'm not going to say, because I'll get it wrong. But anyway, I'll look it up. And you've got a couple of little candlesticks there. And let's have a look underneath. What's he got rid of it? Oh, it says Medina. Yeah, that's a bit like the vase we saw downstairs, this colour here. So that's quite nice.
I'm looking at the glass trinket sets website, and it's Bagley Rutland pattern, which ran from 1939 to 1975. So, yeah, I thought it was Bagley, but obviously I could say what I like now because I wouldn't say who I thought it was, but I thought it was Bagley. There's tend to be softer ones, less imitation of cut glass, etc. So, yeah, I kind of guessed, and that's what it was.
Some more bits of trinket sets. And back here there's a Edinburgh crystal decanter. £32. I imagine it was quite a bit more than that new. And then look at the size of this Chance Brothers swirl plate. That's looks on about 12 inches by 14 inches or something like that. That's really big. And there's another smaller one on the other side.
I jumped to the next clip of film, and actually the candlesticks are actually from the same service with these like ears on the side. So yeah, still Bagley, still Rutland. I didn't find the other candlesticks, but anyway, there you go.
So I think I'm going to finish on this. There's this little white glass vase and back here, and we will do some comparisons between Chinese Dalian Snowflake and Home Guard Cascade, and we'll work out what it is. I've looked underneath, it's a bit, I can't tell. I don't think it really has got much of a pontle or anything on it. So anyway, we will try and find that.
Looking at the 20th Century Glass website here, And yeah, so this is the Home Guard Cascade that I mentioned. You can see the colourway is similar, it's not quite the same. The colours are a bit more splodgy. It is cased, you can see it's clear along the bottom here. If I click on that one, you'll see a bit more clearly probably. But it's not quite the same really. So the other one I mentioned was Dalian, and I started doing some searches, blah blah blah, and then lo and behold, where do I end up? Back at 20th century glass, and I find this one here. Now this one, the colorway is not exactly the same, it's similar. I did find some others with closer colorways, but this is perfect in a way, right? Okay, because obviously this bit here is all hand done and it's a bit random, so that's never going to be exactly the same. But this shape is exactly the same as the one we're looking at, with the clear foot, and even better to make it perfect, it's got the lotus flower label on it, so it's a labeled piece, and you know that always wins. So yeah, it's the same shape. When they make these vases, they're not free blown, they blow them into a mold. You don't see a seam, because when they put it in the mold and they blow it, they turn it, and that removes the seam from it. So yeah, I'm very happy it's this, because that shape is an exact match. I've flicked forwards and backwards and forwards, and I'm really happy that that is what it is. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed that visit to Vintage Guru. Yeah, it's a very nice place. They're always very friendly. Every time I go, I have a chat, and yeah, it's like a how can I put it? It's like a cozy corner shop in a way. Going there, that's the atmosphere that you get in there, and but it is also like a rabbit warren. Yeah. Anyway, nice place to go if you're in Northampton, just to, even if you're just looking for gifts and cards, because there are some new things as well in there, mainly handicraft type things, local handicrafts. So with that said, all the references I used will be in the description below, as well as any links and stuff for Vintage Guru. Please remember to like and subscribe, because it helps my channel. And thank you for watching, and have a very good evening. Good night.